Hi guys, Toger here with a new video, and this video will be a elemental shaman war within video. And you can already see with how I react and how I talk that I'm really not excited about this spec. um, Pretty much if you have played Dragonflight, you're playing the same spec, so if you're liking Dragonflight, you can keep playing it. If you expected something different, you're going to fall from a very tall building. It's going to be very disheartening on how they decided to actually change nothing about the spec. It feels it feels like the fantasy of Stormbringer is good, but the implementation is so bad that you cannot really enjoy it. I'm gonna drink a bit of water and I'm going to talk about the class tree and the spec tree really quickly because there is nothing to talk about, but I'm still going to talk about it. So the class tree hasn't been changed. Basically, we still have some goodies here and there. I'm going to say that I'm not impressed, like usual. This is going to be probably the best that we have because we have a lot of utility. That's good. But I do feel like we still miss a few of those "oh damn" button. Right? We have it with lightning lasso and thunderstorm, but I'd say as elemental shaman, those were already pretty much on your kit, except lightning lasso was a PvP talent. Um, I feel like it would be nice that we got like something extra, something where you have a big ability at the end or a big passive that makes your playstyle a bit different. But it does feel like this is pretty much like based around utility and how your encounters are. For example, if you're playing versus a bounce druid, you should be playing Spirit Walk. If you're playing versus someone that you want to purge a lot, you should go for greater purge or purge. If there is someone that you don't want to purge at all, you can just like dismiss it if you want to and take something else, like for example this or this. Although I always say greater purge in general because there is always something to purge. There is not a lot of choices on the top side because I do feel like the top side is pretty much defined. Then you have the bottom side where pretty much look, do you need a stun or not? Do you really need ancestral guidance? Do you want to put it somewhere else, like totemic projection? Do you want to have like increased crit on nature spells? You could also just dismiss it and take something else, for example, which you can put elsewhere. But really, the choices are really good, but also slim because there is nothing that really adds to your damage or to your playstyle. It's purely about the utility and how you take encounters one by one for raids, mythic plus, or PvP. And then we were talking about PvP, the spec tree, and again, nothing really changes. If you played Dragonflight, you're going to play the same spec most likely. You can either decide, look, I'm going to play more of a lava burst theme spec, or I'm going to play more of a lightning bolt spec with double stormkeeper, maybe with elemental equilibrium. You could play maybe with ascendance and go full crit. So you still have those possibilities. I do feel like you're in a status quo which is not helpful for elemental shaman. I do feel like they kind of need a rework. I think in raids, from what I've heard, they have like little to no utility. Um, I think it's purely just damage. So if the damage is really good, they're going to get taken. If the damage is not that good or like below certain specs, then you're not going to be taken because you are not giving any utility towards your team. And it would be the same for PvP, to be fair. Right now, we have utility from the class tree, but you could also just say, look, I'm going to take a resto shaman and we have the same. Um, I I'm more hopeful for the mental shaman and enhancement shaman because of the bases being already there, which are not too many points that cost 2 points, and not too many things that actually needs to be fused together to have a meaningful tree. But I do feel like they could remove, for example, volcanic surge. I think they should remove it and just make it baseline lightning bolt and chain lightning doing more damage, and lava burst maybe doing a bit more damage as a whole. Um, I think that would be the play. I think being shoehorned into Volcanic Surge, which, to be fair, is not even a good talent anymore because of Stormbringer being useless. Um, yeah, I think Volcanic Surge people that play that are people that play full mastery, for example, or people that play full crit. But 90% of the player base does play with full haste, which is the play that you want to do if you want to get a lot of lava surges and a lot of instant costs. But Volcanic Surge kind of throws it away. So again, I like the talent, I like the implementation. I just don't like how you are forced into it if you want to do some significant lightning bolt damage casted. And you also lose the procs from Lava Surge to your Lava Burst, which is not really something you want. Um, so maybe they could like swap a few talents, like for example Elemental Blast, they could put it a bit higher. That would be probably nice. Elemental Equilibrium maybe also a bit higher. Primordial Wave on the other hand, you could be putting it a bit lower. I think Ascendance, we are at a point where it would be nice that we have Ascendance and Deeply Rooted Elements together. So you have a proc, but also a big CD that you can use. But right now we have to choose, and that's the problem, right? And that's the solution for it is to fuse a few talents on the bottom side. I think the top side is quite okay, but that's it. So now I have talked about the spec tree. Let's talk about the hero talents, which are really underwhelming. I frankly don't have any energy anymore for Elemental Shaman and also for Enhancement Shaman, but I already made the video. But Elemental Shaman, it's tough, man. I don't really like to play it right now. I think Stormbringer is such a failed implementation hero talent. It actually does less damage than a lightning bolt. With all the procs and all the things going on, it does less damage. And that's just is a bit annoying. So if I'm in combat right now, it does 182k and my lightning bolt does 677k. Excuse me, it was with Stormkeeper. It does 270k. So basically, just a normal cast of lightning bolt will do more damage than a Tempest. For example, now I got a lucky proc. I did a minimum of a 225k lightning bolt, and my Tempest did a 182k. I understand it has an AoE purpose, but the issue is the same as Enhancement Shaman. I don't want to do AoE purpose, right? I want to be able to blast someone. This is the damage is really low. Like for example here, we have Tempest. It got even cancelled. So even that is bad. So if you're casting Tempest and you lose the buff, you are going to lose the cast if it is while you're casting. So even implementation is a fail. But as a whole, you have to spend 400 Maelstrom, which is right now, Earthshock is 50 Maelstrom. So you have to spend 8 Earthshocks to be able to get a Tempest. But you can also get a RNG proc from Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning, have a chance to strike your target for 45k nature damage, and every 3 times this occurs, your next Lightning Bolt is replaced by Tempest. I find it really annoying. Also, every single thing, because it replaces, you would think, oh, Lightning Bolt gets, Tempest gets all the benefits from Lightning Bolt and more. No, that's not the case. So if you're doing a storm, for example, if you're doing a Stormkeeper, so I'm going to try to get it, the proc. So I'm going to try to fish the Tempest, which is very annoying because again, there's no counter upside also. So that also is not implemented. You can't even know how much Maelstrom you need to use again to get the Tempest proc, which is really sad, to be fair. Something that is very useful to have, like a counter, or at least like something on the personal bar where you know, okay, our next Maelstrom cast will get your Tempest, right? Right now it's not the case. So I'm going to try to get Stormkeepers, my Tempest. So once I have Tempest, I can show you. I have Tempest. Now I'm going to do Stormkeeper. Guess what? My Tempest is not working with Stormkeeper. So what's the point? So basically you're gimping yourself because if you have Tempest proc and you have a Stormkeeper proc, you have to spend a cast time to get Tempest out, and then you can use your Lightning Bolt. So you see the problem already, right? So basically, if you get a proc from the gain 1 stack of Stormkeepers every 50 seconds, and you do a Stormkeeper and you do a Earth Shock. Reminder, Earth Shock is a Maelstrom spender. So if you are like on the edge of getting 400 Maelstrom used to get the Tempest, you will not be able to cast Lightning Bolt to get the damage. So you have to then cast Tempest to then be able to cast Lightning Bolt, which is, again, a DPS loss. Literally a DPS loss. It is also a loss of the potential of a good use Stormkeeper with Earthshock, which is going to be added from Surge of Power. So all these things together makes it very bad. Also, again, it's really stupid, but Voltaic Surge doesn't improve Tempest. There is nothing that improves Tempest. Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning, Elemental Overloads. Why not Tempest Overloads? Why not all these things together? And which can be just helped with the fact that right now the implementation is bad, so they might change it. But really, there's only a few things that are affecting Tempest. For example, your nature damage critical strikes reduces the targets of movement speed by 50%. That's great. Tempest can do that. But again, what is the odds that you are having a cast of a Tempest, which is, again, something you have to cast it off in PvP, so good luck with that. It's a long cast as well. It is a 2-second cast, by the way. It doesn't get reduced by Volcanic Surge. Again, which is so weird, guys. You replace Lightning Bolt, so normally any spell that replaces something gets the benefits from the spells that it got replaced. For example, a Storm Strike gets replaced by Wind Strike if you go Ascendance. It has the same properties. If you are going into Ascendance and you have your how it's called, Chain Lightning changed into Lava Beam, it has the same properties as Chain Lightning, so it gets buffed by the other stuff and more. Even I think it's even buffed by fire damage as well, since you have like a few things that gives fire damage. All these things, it's implemented. Even Lava Surge gets replaced by Volcanic Surge, which is going to give a boost to Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning. It's not like the boost is gone because you have now Chain Lightning getting a buff, right? So it's so weird that everything is like well written, and for some reason they forgot about everything that makes like Stormbringer maybe a cool hero talent. I think the fantasy is good, but the implementation is such a fail. It has nothing to do with balancing there, it has to do with pure implementation. Tempest not being able to benefit from Lightning Bolt like buffs from your talent trees, from your spec trees, from your PvP talent trees, being able to not able to use your Stormkeeper on a Tempest, because that would be cool, but even the damage is lower, so why would I do that? But still, it would be cool if that was the implementation, but it is not even made with the implementation in mind. So I'm very scared about Stormbringer. They need to change a lot of stuff to make it work. It has nothing to do with numbers, although numbers are really low. I'm going to say that your Tempest doing less damage than Lightning Bolt is not working. Either you do the same damage or more, because it replaces Lightning Bolt, or it has to replace Chain Lightning. It's one or the other, because it doesn't make sense that my Lightning Bolt, the ability that does more damage than Tempest, gets replaced to do less damage. Why? If it's doing less damage, let me replace it to Chain Lightning at least, because it has AoE purposes and single target purposes. But right now Lightning Bolt has only single target purposes, so why do I get a replacement of a spell that does less single target damage? It doesn't make sense. Now, I've talked everything about like Stormbringer. There's a few things that are cool. For example, after using Tempest, your next Chain Heal or Healing Surge will be instant and consuming no mana. That could be cool with, for example, Focus Insight. And if it was not a 2-second CD, 2-second cast, it would be an instant cast. That would be maybe cool to play around. But right now it is not the case. Still, this talent is not implemented as well. So again, it's not even good, because it now... It's really bad, man. It's actually bad. I have no words. There's a few things that have cool things, like for example here, unlimited power is cool, more haste. You have more crit and more crit damage. That's cool. There's a few things that are cool and neat, but they need to implement things, and that this is really beta. That's alpha stuff. Now we are in beta, and they are still implementing stuff. The game is going to come out in 2 months. 2 months. The Shaman devs are literally in sabbatic, man. They are in vacation. They're said, oh, I've put my hero talents as last, stretching out. All right, next Scrum, which is the project that they would work in a team. I'm going to take my vacation. Hunter specs are done. DK specs are done. Warrior demolish is done. Stormbringer, we'll talk about it second season. Why not? The second season, there will be the time to shine for Shaman. First season, I'm on vacation. I don't care. That's some kind of things that I'm actually currently feeling from the Shaman devs. They are working with deadlines that doesn't make sense. If their deadline is literally in 2 months, that's dumb, because you need to still balance those things. What I'm talking about is purely design stuff right now. It's not. It doesn't have even to do with numbers. This is design, because number-wise, balancing-wise, it doesn't make sense that Tempest does less damage than Lightning Bolt. This is nothing to do with balancing. That's like they know what they're doing. It's not like, oh, I didn't know that it would do less damage than Lightning Bolt. No, it just does less damage because you implement it like this, because you put a single target property with AoE property with a cast time that doesn't have any effect from Stormkeepers, from Lightning Bolt damage, from Chain Lightning damage. There is nothing except doing less damage. I can guarantee right now you would probably prefer doing Chain Lightnings over Tempest most of the time, because of all these things that are currently working for Chain Lightning, which are not working for Tempest. So that's really a concern of mine. I think I've talked too much about Stormbringer, but I really want you guys to understand that right now, if you really wish to play Stormbringer and it stays like this, do not even bother. Like, you're going to be disgusted by it. So prefer to wait until it changed, or just don't play it. That's kind of the feeling I have right now with Stormbringer. If they don't change it, I am not going to touch it the next season. If they do change it to a point where Tempest has Stormkeeper's properties, Lightning Bolt increasements. So, for example, my Volcanic Surge is affected by Tempest. The cast time is reduced because of that, so it becomes a bit better to cast it. All those things together, yeah, then I will be able to play Stormbringer. But right now, it is not the case. Right now, it is literally a design hell. They need to repurpose it. But the same for Enhancement Shaman, to be fair. But you know what's crazy? Enhancement Shaman got Maelstrom Weapon implementation on Tempest, so if you have Maelstrom Weapon, you can cast it instantly. But we don't have a Stormkeeper implementation on Tempest, which is really weird, but it is what it is. And then we have Farseer, which is probably the town that everyone is going to play. Personally, it is boring as hell. I don't like it. The fantasy, like the idea of it, like Ancestor and such, that's cool, but again, I don't care. Like, I'm tired of pet classes, like pure pets. Like, I love BM Hunter, but I wished I had like only one pet, which is a monster, instead of like 10,000 pets that does like little damage. That's what I feel. The same for Demonology Warlocks, to be fair. And sorry for the WhatsApp sound. I'm like, I didn't shut it down while I did the video, but it is what it is. Farseer, it feels like Demonology Warlock to me, where you summon pets. Again, it's random, so sometimes you're not going to even summon it, but you have Primordial Wave that does summon an Ancestor. It does some okay damage. It's alright, but it's not like revolutionary. This should be probably balanced into a way where it is going to add a bit more. Design wise, I think it's set in stone. I think it was also the first hero talent that came out. Then you had Stormbringer and Totemic that came out as last. So I do feel like Farseer is kind of done, except maybe the balancing. I think a few things could be changed to facilitate a lot of stuff. For example, I like the lava burst cost. I have an 8% chance to call an ancestor, and it works really well with deeply rooted elements. You should not play volcanic surge though, because you really want to fish those stuff. But in general, like, yeah, I find it quite boring, but it is what it is. Lava Burst does more damage, has more charges, so I have 3 charges of Lava Burst, so if you play with a lot of haste, you're never going to run out of Lava Burst potentials. Using spells gives you more duration on Spirit Walker's Grace, and Aegis as well, so for example, this is going to be buffed as well, so you have a longer duration on your silence and interrupt effects. That's a good thing. Again, those things are like, even if Farseer is not that good, it's still going to have some play because of this. These things, for example. Final Calling, it sucks. It does little damage. It needs to be balanced, probably. But it will never hit like a normal elemental blast, because else it would be a bit too strong, I believe. Here, for example, it just is a pure damage buff towards Earth Shock, Elemental Blast, and Earthquake, but even also your healing. So you have a lot of utility because of that. And then you have your ancestor spells are 20% more powerful, or whenever it's expired, you have a chance, like again, an RNG effect where you get an ancestor again. So that could be also a play. You could be summoning constantly ancestors. When an ancestor is called, they reduce the cooldown of fire elemental. Well, again, it's not that impressive, and you're going to reduce it because of other things, but it's still going to be okay. This is quite nice. Again, the utility. That's why I'm saying, like, in arenas, it's going to be quite nice to play around, and the same for RBGs, to be honest. Like Earth Shield having more charges, healing more, or your CD from Nature's Guardian, which is this talent, is going to be reduced by 10 seconds and causes more healing. So you have a few things that are going to be quite good, and then you have your Ancestral Swiftness, which is it's alright. You could be playing maybe with Elemental Blast because of that, but it's a 45-second CD, so you have to think, is it going to be worth it to play around it or not? But it does seem like it does more damage though. So for example, if I do sacrifice a point, which I cannot, I need to find a point where I can sacrifice without any problems. For example, this one, I'm going to sacrifice this one. I'm going to get Elemental Blast, and I have like the Ancestral Swiftness, which is on my G. So pretty much you can do some good bursts, right? I'm lagging a bit, wait. I'm lagging a bit. I'm going to Lava Burst. I'm going to put another Wave. I have my Ascensor out, which is not really super visible, I'm going to say. It's not really great. And I did use it too late, like I used it too soon. I used it on Lava Burst, which is quite dumb. But Elemental Blast does some okay damage, to be fair. So there is a world where you do play with Elemental Blast. 2k damage is not too shabby. So there is a world where maybe you can have fun because of that. But again, we have to remind guys that it is highly nerfed in PvP generally, which is not always the best thing out there. So I do feel like, again, Ancestor has the potential of being good because of like the good basis of damage, right? This is like, it's there. So you could do some good damage. You could do some impressive things with Ancestor's hero talent. But I personally don't really like how it plays because of all those procs and pets. I prefer it to be without pets and be like purely your elemental shaman. But it is what it is at the end. I think, again, if you have to choose between Stormbringer and Ancestor, it will be always Ancestor every single day. I'm talking about PvP. To be honest, I don't know about PvE. But for example, here, those Ancestors do only 8% of my damage. Elemental Blast only 190k, which is pretty much like double the Flame Shock damage, which is not that impressive. And you have Lava Bursts doing 224k from Ancestors. So I guess all those things are going to be combined and doing more damage for you. But I do feel like you cannot really play with Volcanic Surge because of you have to spend a lot of time casting Lava Bursts, and it has nothing to do with Chain Lightning, or with Lightning Bolt. So you don't have any benefits from it, which is kind of, yeah, it's a bit sad. in that point where it would be nice if Stormbringer actually was something like that, but it is not the case right now. So this is pretty much the talk I wanted to have with you guys about Elemental Shaman. I'm a bit disappointed to resume everything. The spec tree hasn't changed anything. The class tree has changed anything. Stormbringer is a failed product right now to a implementation level, to a design level, and balancing wise, it also needs to be balanced towards buffs. To be fair, but it's really the design that causes the problems, because if design is good, the balancing would be easier to do. But right now, it's purely like if the numbers are correct, why not? But the design makes it very bad to balance it, because it's either busted or it's going to be crap. And right now it is crap. If the design would be good, it would have more use cases, and such would be also easier to balance around. Now it's either Tempest is way stronger, so it's okay, but it has no implementation with other lightning bolts, chain lightning effects, or it is crap, and then you basically don't want to play that because you're going to gimp yourself. And if the design is good, at least you would have use cases to Tempest. You would think, oh, okay, Tempest, although the base damage is not good, we can improve it because of the spec tree, because of the class tree, or because of the PvP talents, and then maybe it would have some use cases. But right now it has nothing of those two, which is a bit disheartening. And Assisters, very good. Very good to a comparison of Stormbringer, but I think design-wise I'm not a fan, but it's way better than Stormbringer because of the implementation of it. That is correct. Again, it does show that Ancestor was made way sooner on the production line, so it is also way easier to know that it's ready or not. While Stormbringer, it does show that it is a failed product, not working, probably devs on vacation, and waiting for Season 2 to fix it. Which I hope not. Please, please, prove me wrong. I just want to be proven wrong, that I am a clown on this video, so people would understand me and say to me in comment section below that I am a clown, that I did fail on this video, and that I did have it as a mistake. Then I would be right. Then I would be content. I prefer to be not right and be proven wrong than having it right and actually just not wanting to play Elemental Shaman this season. That's my take. Again, thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye.